Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 79 of the 72 review. Jake will hopefully be joining us in a short while. He's just looking after the young lad at the minute until his lovely wife comes home. So hopefully he'll be joining us to talk through the championship in around 30 to 40 minutes time. So you are stuck with myself and the lovely Ian for now to talk about League One and League Two. But Ian, introduce yourself for anybody who doesn't know who you are, what you do and why you do it. And yeah, just let us know. And before you do start, happy anniversary. So in the chat,
thank you very much.
Ian and his lovely wife have been married 40 years. She needs a medal.
She needs a medal as big as a dustbin lid, actually. Yeah, I'm Ian. I'm a 62-year-old Rotherham season ticket holder. And when we're away, I'm all over the country doing vlogs for my YouTube channel, which I think Dan will put in the description. So basically a football fan.
Yeah, links to all the guys who are normally on are in the description down below. So if you haven't subscribed to any of them yet, please go ahead, check them out. And if you enjoy their content, get subscribing and support them. And if you've not subscribed to me yet, please do and show some support to this channel as well. I always normally forget to introduce myself. I am Dan, a Doncaster Rovers fan. The channel is purely focused on Doncaster Rovers and then a Sunday live stream to try and bring it all together. And normally ends up being a bit of a therapy session, but it's a positive one this week because for the first half an hour or so, me and Ian are going to be talking about a double win for both of us this week, which is pretty much unheard of. And then when Jake joins us, he's had a pretty good week as well with 4 points from an available 6. So yeah, hopefully he'll be on shortly. But yeah, as always, get your comments in. They do drive the conversation as well, especially when there's only two of us. It does help us move it on a little bit as well. We've got Lucy in. Hi guys. Donny beat Grimsby. Should have been 6 or 7. Yeah, very good performance. ATID won't be around much tonight. He's normally pretty active in the chat. Midweek, he says that they got robbed by a shocking penalty decision. Yesterday it was limbs of a biblical proportion, and I adore Morgan Whittaker. So we will touch on Plymouth when we get to the championship towards the end of the video. We've got John. Good evening. John will be very happy with Wrexham's result yesterday. We've got Lewis. Well, yeah, very good. Evening, Lewis. Finley, very happy. Fantastic day yesterday at Coventry. Finley says hi to both of you. Good evening, Finley.
Hiya, Finley.
We've got Carl. Evening, folks. Super Vale away. So yeah, another good result for Port Vale at Notts County.
Result for Vale, that. Yeah.
Yeah. John said happy 40th.
Thank
Ruby.
you.
Ruby anniversary, isn't it? 40.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
There you go. Got any rubies?
I wish.
Louis says happy anniversary. Neil.
Thank you very much.
Neil can relax today. Well, I say relax. He can enjoy not having to stress about football this weekend because Bradford play tomorrow. But yeah, he's having to miss tonight as he just had a phone call, so he's going to pick him up. Have a good one. Well done on your double win. And he's out straight away.
I'll be watching Neil's team next Saturday at Tranmere.
Oh, there we go. Well, I'm sure Neil will catch it up later on in the week. So yeah, we've caught up with the chat. Let's get on to League One. And where's Rotherham's midweek game? More matches.
Tuesday.
There is somewhere. September. Where are we? We're miles away, aren't we? There we go.
Yeah, there we
So
go.
it's been an age, Ian.
Yeah, it has been. It's been an age. It was 639 days since.
I think you and your lass weren't married last time you went away, were you?
It was. It was November 2022 when we won 1-0 at Bramall Lane. That was our last away win. This game was appalling. It was dreadful. It were two absolute awful teams going at each other, and one of those games where after the first 10 minutes you would have called it at 0-0. There was just no pattern, no intensity. It was just like a pre-season friendly.
Yeah.
Although I must admit, in the first 10 minutes of the second half, Cambridge stepped it up a little bit, and there was a fantastic double save from Cameron Dawson that kept it at 0-0. A cross came in from the right-hand side, and Cameron Humphreys, our defender, got a touch on it that looked like it was going to go in for an own goal. He palmed it away and then smothered the rebound shot over the bar. Superb save, double save. That kept it at 0-0. Then it went back to being boring again. And the winning goal, you wouldn't be, well, I hope you've seen it on YouTube or the highlights show. It
Absolute
was incredible.
worldie, mate.
It was a worldie, weren't it? It was crossed in by Joe Powell, and it looked like Sam Nombe were getting pushed in the area. And he sort of fell forward, and I'm absolutely sure it just hit him on the arse and wrong footed the keeper. And that was in 92nd minute. But I mean, when you haven't won away from home for so long, you take it, don't you? You'll take it all day long.
Yeah, definitely.
So that was. So it was very unconvincing. It was still tripe, like we've been turfing out all season. But we got a 3 points, happy days. And that's all you can take from that. We were just a lucky 1-0 win. Really lucky 1-0 win.
Certainly take it. Didn't want to click on those. Get rid of that. Other midweek results, we'll kind of skip over. We'll get straight to the weekend. We'll just focus on our team's result on Tuesday. So moving on to yesterday, it was another 3 points, mate. So another 6 points out of 6 this week. Certainly take it.
Absolutely, you'll certainly take that. Reading been in a really good spell of form, and in the first half, Rotherham just didn't show up again. Another 45 minutes of non-entity, really. I mean, the difference, we had a free kick on about 25 minutes at the edge of the box, loused it up, went over the bar. Straight from the restart, Reading worked the ball to the edge of our area. Lewis Wing got brought down, free kick the edge of the box. I think I'd talked to somebody that was sat a couple of seats away from me. I says, "This is a goal." It was an absolutely superb free kick. No goalkeeper on the planet had saved it. I mean, I think Cameron Dawson did get a little bit of a touch on it, but it was like an Exocet missile straight in the top corner. 1-0 Reading. We did come back a little bit at them towards the latter end of the first half. Johnson Clark had it. Harris had a goal-bound header that was really well saved by David Button, and it went in, and it went over the bar. And at half-time, there were 1 or 2 boos around the stadium, which I thought were a little bit unwarranted because it was coming back towards the latter stage. I don't know what was said at half-time. I don't know what Steve Evans said, but it was a complete transformation after half-time. I mean, we went to Reading straight from the... Sorry?
Do you think the boos have come from kind of an expectation to be kind of in and around the mix towards the top end of the table?
I think so, yeah. I think there's a little bit of entitlement towards our fan base. Why aren't we in the top 6? Because we're not good enough, basically. Anyway, come out after half-time. We really, really went for them from the first whistle. And we equalised on 49 minutes. A good run and cross from Joe Powell. And Sam Nombe just nipped into before the centre-back and just prodded it home. Nice finish, 1-1. And then we kept going at them. The ball worked out to the right-hand side. Malik Wilkes tried a shot that were blocked. And then he passed it out to Joe Rafferty, who stood one up at the far post. It just hung in the air. And there were 3 Rotherham players waiting to head it in. And a Doffin got there and headed it in. Towards the latter end, we had 3 or 4 chances to put the game to bed. Wrong decisions on breaks, wrong pass. One shot from Nombe was really well saved by Button. The one where young substitute Jack Holmes ran through, and the Reading defender got there first, superb defending. And then right at the 96th minute, which is the only time in the second half we were threatened at all, The ball was pinging around in the area, and Sam Smith got on the end of it, hit the shot, and Cameron Dawson performed a worldie save to get the 3 points. So I think it was a deserved 3 points. And to answer Carl's question, yes, there were. There were more. I don't think there were boardroom pressure on Evans, but there was certainly fan pressure on Evans. I mean, the football's not good. It's not good. It's playing percentages. It's a lot of long ball. It's typical Steve Evans football. He's starting to get results, and that's what the man does. Yeah. I mean, he grinds results out, and I think we needed that to an extent after being so passive in our relegation season last season. We were so passive, and we were just turning up at New York Stadium expecting to get beaten. You were just a question of how many we were going to get beaten by, and I think he's starting to install a bit of discipline. It's long-winded, but like a Frommy banner, it might have started clicking. I mean, the jury's still out, but it's looking a lot healthier.
I think we're a Steve Evans team, mate. Once it does start clicking, you kind of know what you're going to come up against. It's like I say, well disciplined, well organised, robust, and manages to get results from games that maybe you shouldn't get results from. And like you say, it's not a pretty way of playing football, but sometimes it is effective.
And it does frustrate the opposition as well, as was highlighted with the guy getting sent off. And I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his name. It was the Reading number 9. Can you pronounce that?
Try that either.
Exactly. The thing is,
his first name, Kelvin.
Joe Rafferty cleared the ball out for a throw-in and clattered the player at the same time. It wasn't a foul. It was just that the player reacted badly to it, and they were sort of like nose to nose. And this number 9 came into the picture from nowhere and just shoved Rafferty straight out of the way. Now, he was already on a yellow, so he had to go. So I don't think he got a straight. It could be.
That's my go at it. Ebe Hattie Oman. That's my guess.
Beautiful British name. I to be quite honest, I don't think it was a straight red. I think it was a second yellow because we were already on a yellow.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether I wasn't close enough to the incident to see whether he put a yellow up then a red. I don't know what happened, but I would assume it was a second yellow.
Yeah.
And that sort of like limited.
Nathan's agreeing with
me. It limited Reading's options, really, having the main striker when they were playing like a 4-5-1.
Yeah.
And having the main striker, they had to. Sam Smith had to take that sole striker's role up, and they had to bring like another defensive midfielder on, and that's why we weren't really troubled apart from that 96-minute save. So a deserved win.
Happy days. And that has really tightened the division up a little bit, hasn't it? And we'll have a look at the table in a bit. But I think we'll go towards the top of the table now.
Exactly.
We mentioned it last week, didn't we? That Birmingham were very, very good, and they will more than likely win the league at a canter. But the question was asked: would they go all season as unbeaten? And I honestly think across all 3 EFL divisions, it's a long old slog, and I don't think we'll ever see a team go unbeaten in a division.
I think it's interesting, Dan. I think it's interesting how Blues will adapt to being beaten. I always think if our team reacts to a defeat when they've been on a long unbeaten run, and by the looks of the stats here, it looks like it weren't the match for the neutral, really. No. One shot on target the entire game.
Oh, going back to your game, we have got a comment. It's pronounced Ehi Batioman. Batiomahan. You know what?
Mahan. Batio Mahan. Yeah,
We will
all right.
always try. We will more often than not fail.
Yeah. I hope he doesn't score a boatload of goals this season. It's because we're going to struggle. Yeah.
I'm with John. We're going to call him
Oh,
Kelvin.
Kelvin. Yeah.
But no, back on
Yeah,
Charlton
getting back to
Birmingham.
that. 9 shots in the entire game and only 1 on target.
Yeah,
God,
it's
it
not
looks,
great, is it?
it looks like a midfield. It looks like Charlton defended well, though. Only 36% possession.
And
It looks like Birmingham passed the wind out of the ball and got nowhere.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
It seems like Charlton have maybe done the homework on Birmingham. They've really limited them to chances, even shots just at goal. We've only got 3 shots at goal.
They're a good side. They're a good side, Charlton, this season. And I think they'll be well up there. And we got a point there at the beginning of September, and I thought it were a fantastic point away from home.
Yeah.
At Charlton. I was very pleased with that.
But this result has certainly answered the question that was raised last week about if Birmingham could go the 46 games unbeaten. The answer is no. But like you said, Ian, I think I'll be watching Birmingham maybe next week. Or is I think their game has been called off, hasn't it? Postponed for the international break.
Yeah, there's only 13 games next Saturday. There's 10 in League 2 and 3 in League 1 because of the international break. So if you're doing your fantasy team, bear that in mind.
Yeah. But yeah, the next game that Birmingham play, I'll be interested to see how they respond and react to a defeat. I mean, I do the same with Doncaster. Especially this season, we've got aspirations of being up there, and we've had a few knockbacks this season. Defeat at Newport, defeat at Harrogate, and then defeat against Chesterfield. And each time we've reacted and responded pretty well. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how Birmingham do in their next fixture.
Yeah.
Staying at the top, Wrexham, they looked a bit handy, didn't they, yesterday? I think they got beat midweek. Yeah. Did they get beat midweek?
Yeah, I don't think they're the same animal away from home as they are at the racecourse.
Yeah, 1-0 against Stevenage, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the firepower that Wrexham have got, Marriott, Mullin, Lee scores regularly, and also the old stager McLean. When he's not fighting somebody, he's scoring goals. Yeah.
I bloody hate James McLean.
Oh God! Do you know Wrexham is our next home league game?
Is it?
So we'll have some fun there, yeah.
I think Birmingham's next game is against Lincoln. Sue said that next game is against us at home. I think that might have been from the Charlton Birmingham game that we were just talking about. So it's either Charlton or Birmingham, and next trips to Lincoln. So that's a tough old game as well, isn't it?
It is really. I mean, especially the form Lincoln are on.
Yeah. John's come into the chat. He said 5 points away from home and 5 wins at home. So yeah, kind of echoing what you've said there, Ian, that away from home the form's not particularly great, but at home it's a fortress, isn't it?
Can I ask John whether he'll be coming up to the New York Stadium to see it? Because I'll have a natter with him if he does.
It's a long old way. I think he lives in America, John.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. My bad. Sorry.
That's some commitment if he does come over, though.
Yeah. It looks a closer game than the scoreline suggests here, really. Because it looks like Northampton had a lot of the game.
Yeah, they've had plenty of possession, haven't they? Plenty of shots, some on target.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, John lives in Boston, but he'd love to. So hopefully, if you do ever come over, John, let us know, and it would be nice to meet up and have a chat at one of the games for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah,
not Boston, Massachusetts. Boston, Massachusetts, not Boston, Lincolnshire.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. But no, cracking result for Wrexham. Like you say, it looks a more even game than what the scoreline says. But from the highlights that I watched, it was Wrexham were playing the ball around rapidly and ripping Northampton to pieces for the goals.
Some good good football there. I saw on the highlights. Yeah, that when they get going, they're hard to stop, Wrexham.
Yeah, John said that Northampton played well. Okonkwo made some good saves. So yeah, the scoreline could have been a little bit closer than what it finished. But yeah, great 3 points for Wrexham there. Sue's in the chat, so I think we've got to visit Lincoln because I think they won midweek as well. Drew Blackpool, I think.
Yeah,
that's right. 1-1 against Blackpool, which is a good result. To I think with Steve Bruce coming back, he's made Blackpool. Well, it's a bit of a resurgence on the coast, isn't it? So to go there and get a draw is nothing to be sniffed at, and then to follow that up,
not at all.
Yeah, with a 2-1 win against Leyton Orient as well. A couple of really good results, and
another even game by the looks of it. But Lincoln, once they get going, they do take some stopping. I mean, the one thing I always go on about Lincoln is the backing from the fans. They absolutely get behind the team completely, and they're on a fantastic run of form. I mean, they've got no actual stars in that team. They're just a very, very good football team.
Yeah, I mean, Sue came in a little earlier about the Lincoln game. 2 goals from former academy players.
Yeah,
we're not playing
brilliant.
well in first half of games. Second half, we're coming to life. So if we get it going for 90 minutes, we could be unbelievable. And it's something that happens across the EFL, isn't it? So often you get a good 45 and a bad 45. But if your bad 45,
we're a bit like Lincoln. We have a better second half than we do first. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think if you're gonna have a bad 45 and still be well within a game, then the good 45 is fantastic, then, isn't it? And she's coming 95th minute at Blackpool with 10 men, so yeah, it shows a bit of staying power as well, even against the odds.
I saw the limbs when the equaliser went in on YouTube. Yeah, that's hard to wait though. I mean, 10 men and 1-0 down. That's superb. That.
Yeah, definitely. Any other games tickle your fancy, Ian?
Yeah, well, Mr. Everett's been at it again, hasn't he? Our friend Mr. Everett's been trying to fight with Shrewsbury players at final whistle.
Did you put Ed in?
I mean, the bloke's a nut job.
The bloke's an absolute fool,
that is a good comeback from 2-0 down at half time. That's a decent comeback, that, especially But I'm all for managers and coaches getting emotional during and after games, but there's emotional and there's just been an absolute nutcase.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to get sanctioned for that heavily, I would have thought.
Yeah. Do you think it's come from a bit of pressure because obviously Bolton have been up there over the last couple of years? They've missed out.
Yeah, but
2 seasons.
I mean, they had a good midweek win at Northampton, and things were starting to come together. I mean, yeah, the 2-2 with Shrewsbury might be a little bit disappointing, but at least they didn't lose. So I don't know. I don't know what the fan base thinks about Everett at Bolton, because they've got
any Bolton fans in the chat, let us know.
Yeah, they've got a massive fan base, Bolton, for a League One club. I don't know.
Bailey said that it's stupid from Everett, but it's not surprising. And
no,
this is sickening. Letting down for 250 quid, and had a great chance to win it at the end as well. So yeah, you'd think Bolton at home to Shrewsbury, the way that Shrewsbury have played this season so far, would be a bit of a banker, wouldn't it?
Especially when they equalised in 61st minute. They've got half an hour to get a winning goal, haven't they?
Yeah.
It looks like they battered them.
Yeah, 19 shots, only 4 on target. That's disappointing.
I mean,
72% possession.
I'm harping back to Rotherham again, but it's a bit like when we played Burton Albion earlier in the season and drew 2-2. I mean, it's 7-2. It should have been about 7-2, but we just didn't take its chances, and probably Bolton are the same.
Yeah, and sometimes you just get days like that, don't you, where just whatever you try, nothing works, nothing goes in. The final one that I wanted to touch on was Huddersfield Barnsley. Barnsley have been doing doing okay this season. Huddersfield bit hit and miss. Started really well.
Do you know what I think they're doing Barnsley? That horrendous pink away kit.
What are you trying to say? I'm wearing a horrendous pink away
kit. Yeah, I know. Yeah, yours has got like a black trim. It's all, but I don't know. I mean, there's something about it. It's like, you know, the numbers. Are they in orange? I don't know.
Don't know. Don't know, mate.
It's absolutely abhorrent. But having said that, I mean, 2 goals in the last 10 minutes. Wow. And Wiles is scoring again. If Jake were here, Claxon.
Yeah, it's
good
still
strike as well.
Jake, so yeah, we could do with that Claxon.
Good strike as well from Wiles.
Yeah, but Huddersfield will be very happy with that. Back to winning ways. I think
because they had a massive dip, didn't they? 3 games on the trot a lot.
I think they did, yeah. Have a quick look at the table. Where are they?
No, 4.
4 games on the bounce. Don't like drawing games. 5 wins, 5 defeats. But yeah, the back to winning ways. Defeat midweek against Birmingham. So yeah, Huddersfield will be a team that we're expecting to be kind of in and around the mix of the top 2 more than the playoffs, I'd say. So yeah, they've hit a bit of a tough patch, but certainly that result will help them back on track.
Well, yeah, put them back on course. Michael Duff will be happy with that.
Yeah. Any other games before we move on to League 2, mate?
Just 2 teams. I'm not reviewing the games, but 2 teams that are doing exceptionally well, and that's Mansfield. I mean, promotion. Obviously, they wanted to establish themselves in League 1. I think they're doing a little bit better than that. I think they've had a fantastic start, and they've got a good coach in Nigel Clough.
He's been building something at Mansfield for ages, though, hasn't he?
Exactly.
You could see it in League 2 that they missed out so many times. They were so close, so many years running, and then they got it right last year and were really consistent throughout the season.
And I think it has been as well.
Yeah, I think it has been a slow burner and building over a number of years. And I think sometimes it does show that a bit of patience with the manager. If you're there or thereabouts,
the thing is, there's a lot of trigger happy chairman, isn't there? A lot of trigger happy chairman. 3 or 4 defeats and it's out the door. And I think it does show that patience sometimes works. Yeah,
but then on other occasions, you look at like Sheff Wednesday last year with Cisco. I think if they'd have been patient with him, they'd have been a League 1 team. And sometimes I think if you can see
you've only got to look at the job he did last season and the job he's doing this season at Wednesday.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
And the other club I wanted to sort of praise is Exeter City. I mean, most people's tip to be struggling, and they're comfortably in the top half of the table.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say it's a nightmare to go down there to Exeter in Devon for any away side. And I think the home record bears that out. But yeah, they're doing great guns. But I do fear for Cambridge.
Yeah.
Because it looks like Cambridge United 0 is becoming a sort of only 6 goals in 9 games. Not good, is it?
Yeah, it's becoming a pattern that they won't want for long, isn't it? And there's only 2 teams without a win in League 1 at the minute, and Cambridge are one of them. No win in 9, only 1 draw, 1 point. It's looking not very good, isn't it? But Burton as well, no wins, but they've managed to draw 4. But you can see a little table starting to form from Leyton Orient down to Cambridge at the minute. There's a 5-point gap. Yeah, 5.
Yeah, 5 points at this stage.
5-point gap. I think I need to lay off of the wine. I can't add to 5. 5-point gap between Leyton Orient and Bristol Rovers, but then from 18th up to the playoffs in 6th, there's only 3 points separating it, which is crazy, isn't it?
But League 1, I mean, when we started talking pre-season about League One, we thought it's going to be tight. It's going to be a really tight division. I think it's bearing that out. Yeah.
Towards the top, though, Birmingham still sit in first with a game in hand over Wrexham, 22 points. The only undefeated record in League One taken this weekend. Wrexham, though, going to be pushing them all the way. But Mansfield, look at that. 5 wins on the bounce out of the last 5.
That's incredible, isn't it? That is incredible.
Some form.
And Lincoln's form, if they can turn some of the draws into wins. But serious one defeat out of 9, you'll take that in every day of the week. And Wickham are doing okay as well.
John has come in and said that Exeter have only given up 5 goals as well.
Yeah.
6 goals. 6 goals. But, yeah.
It's a good start for them, yeah. Good start.
Other than Wigan, I think somebody mentioned Wigan earlier about being so low. Yeah, it was John as well. How are Wigan 15th with a +4 goal difference? They've not scored many, but they've not conceded many as well, have they?
And also, they've only got 13 points, where Peterborough got 14. That's how they do it.
But no, that's an incredible kind of position, isn't it? 10 games in, 3 wins, 4 draws, 3 defeats. Must have been very low scoring games. I'd have to look back through them, but only 9 goals scored, 5 conceded.
Wigan beat Peterborough 3-0 in midweek, and that's sort of like a third of the half the goals in one match.
Absolute madness. So that's League One done and dusted. The chat's gone mad at the minute. We've got score predictions for tomorrow night. So this is League Two, Bradford against Newport County. Looking at James' profile picture, I think he's Newport. Do you know what? Bradford have not been clever this season so far. Is it?
It's a horrible fixture for Newport on a Monday night, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that'll be Sky, that, won't it? Is it an 8 o'clock kickoff? Yeah.
I think it's at Bradford, isn't it?
It's at Valley Parade, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go 2-1 Bradford just because of the journey more than anything.
I think it'll be a little bit more convincing. I'm going 2-0 Bradford.
There we go. Sorry, James.
Yeah.
Okay, on to League Two. Jake's still not in, so I think we might be taking Championship together, Ian, on this evening. But midweek, we didn't do well last weekend against Chesterfield. Poor performance from the Rovers. We've gone through refereeing. I think more so the performance from Donny, and a response was needed Tuesday night against Bradford, against Barrow. They'd just beaten. Are they beaten Gillingham? I think they were coming in off of a good result. So yeah, it was going to be a tough game. There were 3 points off of top. And yeah, I expected a bit more from them, to be honest. We were talking just before we went live. James is hoping for a draw for tomorrow night.
Yeah, the point, it won't be bad. It wouldn't be a bad point,
yeah. But yeah, we just needed a response from Saturday, and I think we got that. I think as a performance as a whole, we had opportunities, 13 shots at goal, 4 on target, and I feel like I've been saying this quite a lot in the shows over the past couple of weeks, that we're getting plenty of shots at goal, but our conversion rate isn't great at the minute. And I was saying to Ian before we started that I feel like we've not really got out of second or third gear at the minute. I think when it does really click, I think there's so much more to come from this squad. There's so much more potential, and we are starting to see glimpses of it. Harry Clifton.
Do you think somebody's going to get a really good hiding sooner rather than later?
I do, yeah. I think there's going to be a team that comes either to us or it just clicks on an away day, and we knock 5 or 6 past somebody, and hopefully we don't do like what Fleetwood have done, where they beat Walsall 6-2 and then end up drawing 0-0. I'd sooner just spread my goals out, to be fair, and be a bit more consistent. But I do think there is a team that could potentially get an absolute hiding from us if it all clicks at the same time. But yeah, we often puffed a little bit on Tuesday night. There were Billy Sharp at the bar. Sabara had a really good chance. There were a couple of opportunities in the second half, but then we dropped off 60, 65 to around 80 minutes. We allowed Barrow to get a real good foothold in the game and put us under a bit of pressure. And we were playing it around at the back. We lost the ball and just given really good opportunity to go one up. And I think had Barrow capitalised on one of those chances, it'd have been a very different story, and it'd probably been a little bit like Newport last season, where we'd had tons of the ball, tons of chances, and got beat 1-0. But luckily, it didn't happen, and the breakthrough came through on the 81st minute. Not a fantastic goal, a little bit like Rotherham's midweek.
Took it really well.
I think the keeper will look back at that and be disappointed that he's not got a stronger hand to it and pushed it around the post. But I don't care, because we were 1-0. We'd certainly take it. It goes back to winning ways, and that took us on to this weekend's fixture, which is always a good one. Grimsby away, and what a performance again. Last season, Grimsby away was the start of our incredible run of 11 wins on the bounce, and hopefully this starts another. 2-0 up in 10 minutes. Bailey said earlier, this has been stuck in my head since yesterday. Evening, lads. Does anybody know what you need to start a fire? Certainly a spark. And Jordan Gibson is on fire. I don't know if you've seen the chants knocking about on social media, Ian.
Yeah, no, I haven't actually. No.
So Bruce Springsteen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I'll send you it. I'm not singing it. I'm not getting into it. Nobody wants to listen to that. But I think Bailey's on about kind of a team getting put to the sword. Could have come yesterday, to be fair. Second half we never really got out of first gear. It was 3-0 up at 3-0 up, had an extra man, just a case of getting there with clean sheet, no injuries. But I think
completely understand that.
Had we have kind of pushed on from that, Grimsby could have been that team that got the battering. So yeah, really good performance. 2-0 up in 10 minutes, Gibson and Molyneux, and then Gibson finished it off on the 44th. And then Harvey Rogers, I think he was just complaining at the ref. 2 yellow cards sent off, and like Bailey said, we've got 45 minutes there where we just kind of got through it, clean sheet. No injuries, happy days, 10 3 points.
Yeah. Correct.
Lolo saying, sing it, pal. No, I'm not doing it. We've got the Mackham Cabby as well. Good evening. There is a Leeds keeper going for a free. We will touch on that.
Well, we'll come on to that.
But no, a fantastic result. And I think the response of getting 6 points from a possible 6 after getting beat 3-0 at home to Chesterfield, it put us in a really good position again.
Yeah,
very
great response to that. Yeah.
There
seems to be a good team spirit running at Rovers at the moment.
There is. Bailey's come in. He said the only worry for me with the second half was that it was a real chance to get our goal difference back up there with the other teams at the top, but happy with the 3 goals and a clean sheet. Yeah, it's a bit disappointing that we didn't push on and really show what we're about. But like you said in your earlier comment, I think it's about getting that clean sheet, being professional about it, getting through injury-free 3 points, and then moving on to Crewe next Saturday. And Ian, Crewe, there's a score to settle with Crewe, isn't there?
There is definitely a score to settle with Crewe after the playoff semi-final last season.
Well, fantastic result against Gillingham.
Absolutely. I watched Gills in the Blood vlog on this, and Matt weren't very happy at all.
No.
It looks like that it just looks like a bit of a smash and grab, but it's efficiency from Crewe. 2 goals in 6 on target. Gills on 18 shots and only 1 on target and 69% possession. And they get done 2-0. They're a decent side for a League 2 side. Lee Bell has got a good side going there at Crewe. I mean, probably not one of the automatics, but they'll certainly be in the shout for the playoffs.
Yeah.
They're nobody's pushovers these days at Crewe Alexandra. And I think Rovers will have a difficult game next weekend.
Yeah. Nathan's mentioned, you talked about team spirit at the Rovers. Yeah, he's seen that morale is massive at the minute. So that David, who does the content for the club, he does a red and white show that previews that goes live before home games. And we're sponsored by Stoneacre, so they give them a different car to kind of feature each week. But then they've got a couple of Rovers players in there that do like a bit of a Q&A and a bit of a few little games and stuff. And the camaraderie between the players that they're having in the car each week, I think you can see that team ethic and that team spirit is definitely there.
Yeah. Yeah, but Crewe, it's going to be a tough game, that.
James has said it. Crewe have the best centre back in the league in Dimitri. He's not doing bad on the EFL fantasy as well, is he?
Yeah.
Sometimes pop him in. Very good defender.
Also, there's a goal in him as well.
Yeah, there is. He's always up there on set piece, isn't he?
Yeah.
Next one. So we did have the Port Vale fan in the chat. His name's escaping me. Let me find him. Somewhere. Wow. Carl Richardson. So he did mention that it was a great result for Port Vale away from home. Notts County are no mugs, are they?
No, they're not. And any team that wins there have got to have played well.
Yeah. And just like clockwork, he comes back into the chat and helps me out. Vale were compact and narrow, let County have the ball out wide, and we just played counter-attacking in transition, which got us the points. And could have been 2 if Ronan rounded the keeper better. So yeah, a couple of opportunities that could have made the scoreline look a little bit better. But Tolaja's got a few goals this season. He's looking a handy player at this level.
Well, I did predict Vale to be champions. And I think if they get a little bit more consistency and not drop points in games they should win, I think they'll be well up there. I think there's certainly a shout for automatics.
I'd agree. Very, very good result.
And I don't think County will be too far away either.
No, I think if we finish above them two, we're in a very good position. Yeah,
I'd say that.
Yeah. Any other games that you want to touch on, mate?
We've got to do a shout out to Aki Stanley because they've got the first win.
Yep. Take it away, mate. It's all yours.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad that they've got the first 3 points. I've got a massive soft spot for Aki, and it looks on stats like they deserved it. Unfortunately, Morecambe, another team that I'm quite fond of, they still haven't got a win yet. But this will do Aki's confidence no harm at all.
They've not been battered yet, though, Morecambe, have they?
No, they haven't. No, it's all goal defeats, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all been relatively close. I don't know if there might have been one that were 2-0 or 3-0, but I feel like every time we've looked at a game that Morecambe's been involved in, it's always been relatively tight. We only beat them 1-0.
Well, didn't they lose the first 5 league games all 1-0?
I think it was, yeah.
I think they did, yeah.
So there's just something not quite clicking at Morecambe, but
I'm massively pleased for Aki getting the first win.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, out of the two, if I were going to choose one or the other, I think Accrington, for me, they're your typical EFL team. They've always been in League One under Coleman. They're starting to drop like a stone a little bit at the minute, and I do worry for them.
The last time Millers were in League One, I used to dread going to Aki because you know what sort of a game you were going to get. You were going to get an absolute war, not a battle, a war.
Yeah, Bailey's hit the nail on the head. I think with Morecambe, Adams is getting them fired up and they're competing, but they've not got that quality within the squad to really kind of hurt teams. But yeah, they're just so close, aren't they, at the minute?
Yeah, you never know. I mean, if they get a victory in the next 2 or 3 games, it might just fire the season up completely.
Yeah, exactly that. Any other games you want to touch on, mate? Obviously, League Two is going to be a bit of a feature next week with the international break. So
it's going to be a big feature. Yeah.
Move on to the Championship then.
Yeah, I think we should. Yeah, just go on to the table. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, Morecambe, the only team in the league at the minute with no wins, and like you said, Ian, that one win might just really kickstart their season because.
I mean, they've got a -6 goal difference after 10 games, and they've lost 6 out of them. So they are in games.
Yeah, they are indeed. I mean, 4 draws on the bounce. So it looked like they were maybe turning something around because they'd had 5 defeats on the bounce, like you say, all 1-0, I think they were, and then 4 draws. They just that win's elusive at the minute, isn't it?
Yeah.
Carl said that Swindon, worst side I've seen in a while, and they're teetering above the drop at the minute.
To be honest, I mean, Swindon, for League Two standards, they're a fairly big football club. I mean, they're the only league club in Wiltshire, and they've got to get quite decent crowds. There's something badly wrong there.
Yeah, there is something not quite happy, or not quite sitting right at Swindon at the minute. Bromley had a really good start, but they seem to have tailed off a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, without a win in the last 5.
Still competitive though. I mean, drawing the last 3.
Yeah, definitely. Moving up the table, we've got Bradford currently in 14th. Real inconsistent form at the minute, and Bradford fans will be wanting to see that change because they should be a team that are up there in the mix every single season with the fan base that they've got and kind of, I'm assuming, the finances they've got on top of that, having so many season ticket holders and stuff. It's a very big club. For me, they're at least one level below where you'd expect to see Bradford. But
to be honest, if you go on fan bases alone and everything and capacities and everything, Bradford should be in the Championship.
Yeah, definitely. But something not quite right there as well. Newport head there tomorrow night. MK Dons on a decent little bit of run of form, unbeaten in 4, pulled them up to 13th. They were struggling to begin with. Moving up the table, we've got Port Vale, fantastic run of form at the minute, unbeaten in 5, win, draw, win. And that's pulled them into the playoffs along with Fleetwood. But yeah, you look at everyone's beating everybody at the minute. There's not really like a run of green or a run of red. There's always kind of a mix in League Two, and it's lining it up for a very good division, isn't it?
Let's face it, Walsall, right, top of the league on goal difference, and they've lost 3 out of 10. They've lost 3 games.
Yeah. And one of those were a 6-2 hammering to Fleetwood. So yeah, it's an interesting division, but 4 teams on 19 points. It's anybody's game, isn't it?
Of course it is. Yeah.
Lovely stuff. Jake did get in touch. He said that he's enjoying the show. Good show, boys. Having to still put the kids to sleep with dad life. They've had a good week. 7 points from the games. So yeah, it just snapped his hand off. And the first away win of the season. So that hoodoo's gone as well. And that takes us on to the Championship. Let me get the banner up. Where are Sheff Wednesday? Lost them.
They played Wednesday night, didn't they?
Bristol City. There we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, 0-0 draw against Bristol City.
Well, I was watching Benjamin Blood's watch along with it for this one, Bristol City Wednesday, and he was doing the commentary on it, and we were sort of listening to him. It sounded like an absolute bore-a-thon. Your typical nil effing nil. But I think Wednesday fans were a little bit concerned that they could have had a penalty in the last few minutes.
I think Jake sent through a message to the chat, and it was something stupid like 600 days without a penalty or something like that. Short and sweet from Jake. It was shit. Certainly take a point at Bristol City, though. They're not a bad team.
You'd definitely take a point at Ashton Gate, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Jake, how many days is it since you guys had it? Oh, there we go. 506 days with no penalty. So There's got to be one coming. There's got to be one around.
Nearly as long as us, we are to know where we.
But then moving on to yesterday, Coventry away from home. Coventry, serial slow starters, and tend to pick up as the season goes on. Similar this season, but yeah,
that's how to do it, isn't it? That's how to do it. 90+3. That is how to do it. Yeah.
And the scenes in the away end that I've seen, it just looks absolute bedlam. Lewis, the Sunderland fan, Coventry usual poor start is becoming quite concerning. And Lolo has said, a bit of luck that we've deserved. Jake's come in, never had a manager turn around and say that we master the dark arts, and that's it. Sometimes you need to play that type of football to get points, don't you?
Yeah. Well, I'm an actual aficionado of that. Being a fan of the Steve Evans team, I know all about the dark arts. But that is a fantastic result. I mean, I wouldn't, if I were a Cough fan, I wouldn't be concerned because they've got so much quality in that side. I don't think they'll struggle for long. And I think they'll turn the poor form round. They've got a fantastic manager in Mark Robins. And I think it's only a matter of time before Cough click. And when they do click, they're pretty brutal. As far as Wednesday are concerned, what a week, 7 points. Yeah. Fantastic week. A great point at Bristol City and a fantastic away win at Cov. Yeah. Happy days.
Carl's coming. Vale's run of competitive games without being given a spot kick stretches back 71 matches to the back end of 2022.
That's incredible.
Did you not get a penalty against us? I can't remember.
Well,
earlier this season, we won 3-2, and I think their second goal were a penalty. I might be wrong.
Yes, I think it were it Chislett that scored it?
I think so, yeah. I think Tom Anderson gave it away at back post.
Yes.
I might be thinking of a different game, but if not, 71 matches without penalty is ridiculous.
But that might have been the first one in 71 game.
Yeah. Bailey's backed me up. My memory is all right. I'm not losing it.
Wednesday Arts will be pleased with that.
Oh, it ended in 2022. So from 2022, before that, there was 71 games without a penalty. I'm with you. There we go.
That's incredible. That's 2 seasons, isn't it? Yeah. Well, it's not. Yeah.
It's not far off. Yeah, nearly 2 seasons worth of games without a penalty. Ridiculous. HID has been in the chat, but I've missed quite a lot of his messages. But a decent week for Plymouth. I think did the draw midweek against Burnley?
Yes. Hold on. Let's check it. No.
Oh no, they got beat 1-0.
1-0, yeah.
But 6 points from 9 is not a bad return.
Not at all. And they're turning Home Park into a bit of a fortress again, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Like they did in the promotion season, and like they did last season to an extent. And the best bit of business they did in the summer were holding on to Morgan Wixicker, because he knows where that onion bag is, doesn't he?
He does indeed.
Yeah. I mean, Blackburn fans will be a bit sick of it after equalising in 86th minute and then letting it go.
Yeah, at that point, 86th minute, you think, happy days, we've got a point, off we go. But yeah, 90+7, that's a way to win it. And obviously Rooney got sent off after the equaliser, I think.
I don't think they'll be bothered.
No, definitely not. But I think he remonstrated with the fourth official about a potential foul on the lead up to their goal. Obviously said a few naughty words that pushed it over the edge and got him sent off. But yeah, if ATID is still about, or if he wants to put a comment in the chat on the repeat, we've been unsure about Rooney, haven't we? Obviously he did well at Derby, he kept them up, but then went to Birmingham, it was a bit of a disaster there. And then it looked like it was going to be the same at Plymouth. Is Rooney actually a decent manager? Is he getting something out of the team?
Well, let's face it. If Plymouth finish top half and Rooney's still in post by the beginning of May, he'll have done a damn good job.
Yeah. Yeah,
Or even if they're mid-table, he'll have done a good job because the start. I mean, last season they did flirt a bit with relegation, but now they're looking a little bit more like a solid championship outfit.
Yeah, they're starting to be really competitive, aren't they? Across the board. I mean, Blackburn are a decent team. They were up there. I think they're still in and around it, aren't they?
Still well up,
Yeah, eighth in the table.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's no easy feat getting over them. ATID is out with the misses, but still commenting. Blackburn would have robbed a point. Absolutely woeful side. 97-minute limbs.
Yeah.
But no, very good result. Any other fixtures take your fancy?
Yeah, we've got to go back to Friday night and Sunderland Leeds, haven't we?
Oh yes, we have. Nearly forgot about that fantastic keeping.
I mean, first point I want to make is this young lad, this Chris Regg, this 17-year-old. Good God, is he going to be a player if he starts his career like he is? I mean, it were a bit of a tapping, but he were there. I mean, he's doing bits in the Championship at that age. That is the start. It could be the start of a stellar career, really.
Yeah.
But then it looked like Leeds took over towards the mid part of the first half. Good equaliser by Pirro. And then they got on top second half a little bit and took the lead. But then Sunderland came back at them. And Meslier.
Wow. That's all you have to say.
Wow.
Just leave it at that. The tone of how you just said Meslier.
I mean, that is unforgivable. I think in his post-match press thing, he said it got a little bit of a touch off a Firpo, but the ball didn't seem to divert at all. I mean, he had an hour to see that ball. He could have thrown his cap on it. I mean, I think it's a little bit unfair of them to put it as an own goal.
Yeah.
Because I think Brown should have claimed that goal because he put the ball over.
Yeah.
So it should be his goal.
Yeah.
Or if it's not his goal, it's a Meslier own goal. But I don't know. It's not. It didn't. But it was an absolute howler, weren't it? That's going to be on sort of compilation clips for donkey's years.
Yeah, and I think that's
a bit like Enkelman's were for Birmingham at Villa Park. Do you remember that? Sort?
Yeah, I do feel for keepers though, because like you miscontrol a ball in middle of park and nobody really bats an eyelid. You get booed or people sigh or whatever. But you make a mistake as a keeper, and 9 times out of 10 it's in back at net, isn't it? And like you say, it ends up being viewed over and over again millions of times, and you're on a Christmas compilation, aren't you?
Yeah, you are. I mean, Leeds will be very disappointed, obviously, but I mean, even just taking a point up at the Stadium alike is no bad result.
No.
If you look about it, because Sunderland have been absolutely flying. So, I mean, I expected a close game, and I half expected a draw, but I didn't expect the way it came about.
No, definitely not. Lewis has said that Leeds played brilliant, but think we deserved a point. Leeds first was offside, second there was a handball in build-up. So yeah, a couple of contentious decisions on their goals, but yeah, they're a decent team.
He did accept that Leeds probably deserved a point.
Yeah, exactly that.
Two very good sides.
Yeah. Any more games, mate, or shall we have a look at the table and then onto the fantasy AFL? Because that hour has rapidly gone by. We're just ticking up to the hour.
Not only the Blades again. The Blades are just the form that they're in, and that Raksaki, is he on loan from Palace?
I think he is. Yeah.
What a player!
Yeah. Different level, isn't it?
What a player! They've recruited well. I mean, I like that Harrison Brooks at left back. He's a good, and Kiefer Moore will all score his share of goals. I think they'll be well up there, the Blades.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
Luton have started really poorly, haven't they?
yeah, they have.
Yeah.
I'm just having a quick look at the chat, and HID and Lolo are having a bit of banter. It's good to watch. But no, Sheffield United doing well.
The only unbeaten team in the Championship, yeah. Actually,
I think they're the only unbeaten team across
team
the
in the
EFL.
72. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's no unbeaten team in League Two. Birmingham lost their undefeated status this weekend, so Sheffield United still hold the only undefeated record of the 72. So there you go, officially the best team in the EFL.
Yeah. West Brom have tailed off a little bit. The last two results have been disappointing.
Yeah, two defeats and a draw. I mean, I didn't want to do that.
That was today's game, wasn't it? Bristol City against Cardiff.
Yeah, West Brom. Where are West Brom?
Yeah,
Millwall. Yeah, so
0-0.
Disappointing, huffing and puffing, like 80% possession, 13 shots, 3 on target, but Millwall have done more with their 20%, and you'd like to think that
More
West Brom with
the target as well.
Yeah,
more shots on target than West Brom.
With the squad that they've got available, they should be capitalising on stats like this, shouldn't they?
You would have thought so.
But yeah, certainly tailed off. But yeah, looking at the table, now we've got it up. At the bottom, Cardiff. Cardiff played Bristol City earlier today, and it finished 1-1. So a couple of decent results for Cardiff are keeping them in touching distance. Pompey battered 6-1 midweek, but responded pretty well. They need to start picking them wins up though, don't they?
Yeah. And QPR starts worrying as well.
Yeah. But for me, Luton is probably the biggest red flag down there, coming down from the Premier League. Those parachute payments, they need to really stay in the division and build on it to try and get back into the Premier League. But yeah, it's been a really poor start for them, hasn't it? With 5 defeats, 2 wins, 2 draws out of their opening 9.
Yeah.
Moving up the table, Sheffield Wednesday's current run of form of 2 wins and a draw in their last 3, 7 points out of a possible 9 has catapulted them up to 15th, just behind Plymouth, who've got 6 out of their possible 9. But yeah, Rooney seems to be hitting the right notes at the minute at Plymouth. And then moving up into the top 6, we've got Watford, Leeds, West Brom and Burnley, with Sheffield United and Sunderland the top 2. So
yeah. I mean, all 6 of them are big clubs.
Yeah. Really? HID said, guess which games were away for us? Yeah, probably those 2. But yeah, some massive clubs in there that will all be fighting to get back into the promised land that is the Premier League. It's going to be interesting, isn't it, over the next couple of months, especially coming into Christmas where games come thick and fast as well. There we go. So that takes us on to the Fantasy EFL. Let me just get rid of that banner. So, Ian, you have set up the 72 Review League. There's 23 people involved in it, and
anybody else is very more than welcome.
Yeah, if you're not involved yet and you've got an EFL fantasy team, search for the 72 Review League. I think it's called. Yeah, 72 Review League. Join it, get involved. It's a bit of fun this season. Let's see who knows the EFL the best. At the minute, I don't really know it.
The brilliant thing about it is you can change your team every week. It's not like you've got a transfer window or anything like that, and you only pick seven players and 2 teams. Yeah. So you can go on current form, you can go on whatever. You've got exactly the same score as me this week, Dan. You got 57. I got exactly the same, 57.
Yeah, I did all right this week. I'm happy with that. I mean, you look at some scores are in and around this bottom end of the table. You've got 13.
Stagged on tour had a stinker, didn't he?
Yeah, who did he pick? Let's have a quick look. No wonder he's picked everybody who didn't play. You'll be all right. You'll change your team about and you'll be fine. But yeah, in and around it is like 30 to 40 points.
I think I'm 10.
Yeah, I'm happy
think
with
I'm
57 points. Slowly chipping away. I will move up the table. But yeah, as we scroll up, if you see your name on there, congratulations. If you moved up, commiserations if you moved down. Ian, you're spot on. You are 10th at the minute, 57 points, 498 across the season, just below Lizzie. But as we move up to the top of the table, we've got Lee around the grounds. He had an half decent week on 44 points, but 570 points for the season, with Adam Gittins very close behind. So yeah, it's going to be interesting as the season goes on. Bailey has said that he is on the charge. Let me just get that up. There we go. Bailey is on the charge. Bailey, I still need to buy you the pint for winning the prediction league last season. But yeah, around the grounds is currently killing it, doing very well.
I'll reiterate what I said at the beginning of the programme. There's only 13 EFL games this coming Saturday because of the international break. There's 10 in League 2 and 3 in League 1. So think about that when you're doing your teams.
Don't tell him, Ian. There's championship on next week. You just pick who you want, lads. But no, if you are involved, make sure you do pick your team consistently as the season goes on, and we might sort out a prize. Like I say, I'm certainly getting Bailey a pint at the Bellevue Bar next week. So as soon as I see him, I will reward him with a pint for winning the Predictions League last season. So we'll try and do something similar this season with the winner of the 72 Review League. But yeah, over an hour, ticked over. We've done all right. Ian, any final words for episode 79?
No, just again a brilliant therapy session, and it's been a bit less therapy this week with both our teams winning. So it's been a good week for both of us, really, hasn't it?
It's been a pleasant one, hasn't it? It's been nice to talk positively.
It makes a change, doesn't it? It makes a change.
It does, yeah. Yeah, it's. I don't know if it feels right or not. But...
We might be spitting fire again next Sunday, but who knows?
Hopefully not, because like you say, we've got a score to settle with Crew. So yeah, it'd be nice to sort that out next Saturday, but we will see. But no, all that's left for me to say is thank you for sticking with us for over an hour. Have a fantastic week. Take care of yourself and each other. Head down to the description, check out all the guests that are normally on. Subscribe to them if you enjoy their content. Subscribe to me if you haven't already. If you're watching this throughout the week and you're just catching up, get your comments in. I will try to reply to them. But yeah, we will be back next week at 6:30 to talk about the limited amount of games due to the international break.
But we can have more of a deep dive into League 2 next week, can't we, really?
Yeah, we enjoy the deep dive into League 2. It's where it's at, being a Donny fan. But no, if you've enjoyed it, big thumbs up on it for us, please. Comments in the section down below. Subscribe to us all if you haven't already. All that's left for me to say is thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week in episode 80, where we might get a few more people involved. Have like a call-in show again. We will see.